3 games left. I'm already sad.
Oh, shit. Yeah, when you said 3 games, I was like, wait, 2. But no, 2 this weekend, 3 total. That's, yeah.
3 games left.
3 games left.
And I feel like the Super Bowl is like, it's not as fun.
I think,
but it is.
Like, the divisional, like, I think all 3 playoff weekends are more fun than the Super Bowl itself.
I agree.
Personally.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's again, it's the March Madness thing. It's like the hype of it and, you know, the drama that comes with it. And then, like, when you get to the Super Bowl, you're just like, all right, we're here already. And it's more of the party that gets you excited and like the, you know, chips and dip and the, you know, the beers and all that. That's the, I mean, there's a chips and dip table, man. I'm sitting there the whole night.
Yes,
give me the Lay's and the French onion. Give me the chips and salsa. I'll mix in some guac, and if we're in Cincinnati, you know, add that Skyline dip in there.
Skyline, oh yeah, it's dangerous. That's a very good point. It is dangerous. But no, you're right. There's always a good spread. It is more about the party and like what are you doing for Super Bowl? Who are you hanging out with? Who are you watching it with? But yeah, no, this divisional weekend, this weekend, like. All you want is good games. That's all you want is competitive games. Is if your team's not in it, especially, or if you have rooting interests outside of it, like I do. I have some rooting interests in these that some went my way this past weekend, some didn't. We'll talk about them. But yeah, for you being a Philly fan, like it's a different feel. I want to know how many times. Like I want to go back and watch the videos. How many times you wore that shirt? I love it, but I feel like you just got to rep. You got to rep Philly whenever you can.
Well, I only have one Philly shirt, and I have, I think, like 6 shirts that I can work out in, and this is one of them.
I love it. It's a good shirt. It's classic.
I have to do a lot of laundry, and it sucks, and I wish I had more like shirts like this, but these shirts are like $50.
No, they are.
This was a gift.
Hey.
You know, but yeah, I mean, this is... the Bengals. You got see, you wore that Bengals shirt every time.
It's my only Bengals shirt. Yeah,
exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
And that's surprising. Let's be honest.
I have like 9 sweatshirts. You know me with my hoodies. I got like 9, but shirts I only have 1. So
I mean, I have a shirt that I still wear from my freshman year of college.
Oh, I do too. I have
my
workout shirts. My 4 or 5 workout shirts I have are from might be from high school.
And there's like holes. There's like gradual, you know, there's like wear and tear holes that are coming in. I'm like, damn, I need to relax on. I just need more shirts. That's. I mean, it's just how we do it, man. We just have our go-tos and.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah. So were you asking me about how I felt about Philly, or are you just commenting on my shirt?
Well, I was coming on your shirt. I don't know why I came up with the whole shirt conversation. I just noticed it, and I was like, shit, I feel like you probably wore that last week. But no, the point was that, like, we're in 2 different situations, right? I'm watching football just to watch football and hoping for good games. You actually have a rooting interest in it in terms of, like, your team's playing in it. So when we start there, how did you feel about the Philly game?
You know, going into it, I was a little nervous, but then once I heard about the weather, it kind of eased my anxiety, I guess you can say. But I mean, I wasn't too anxious. I'm not like one of those crazy people, but like I am a little bummed out if they lose, and I'm pumped up if they win. So it's nothing crazy. But I'll tell you what, though, that last drive of the Rams, I thought for sure that the Eagles were going to lose. Thought for sure they were going to lose. And also Jake Elliott needs to be cut after the season.
Yeah, I think we were texting each other during that last drive, and like after they did not score, I think we both at the same time said 100% thought they were going to score there. Like no doubt in either of our minds that the Rams were going to score on that last drive.
When the Eagles went up 2 scores, I thought they won.
Yes.
And then the Rams just went right down their throat. And I was like, oh, my God.
Well, that's the scary part of playing against Matt Stafford and Sean McVay is we've seen it in the playoffs before when they went on their Super Bowl run. It was kind of the opposite, but it reminded me of the Tom Brady. Like they were playing Tampa. They were up 2 touchdowns. Tom Brady came back, or they were up like 3 touchdowns in the second half. Tom Brady led them down the field 3 times, tied the game with like 30 seconds left. And then Matt Stafford hit Cooper Kupp for like a 60-yard bomb, and they kicked a game-winning field goal. Like, I don't know why, but it reminded me of that same thing where it was like you kind of thought the game was already over. Mm-hmm. They need to come back
after that Saquon touchdown.
Drive. Yeah, like the Saquon touchdown where he broke free, and it reminded. I don't know why, but I had flashbacks of that, and it reminded me of it. And you just can't them out. I for sure thought they were going to score a touchdown there, and it was a good game though. It was a really good game.
Awesome game. All the games were great.
All the games were good. I do agree. All the games were good. Chiefs, we'll get into it. Chiefs Texans was fine, but the rest of them were all very good. But I do want to ask you from a fan point of view, are you nervous about the Jalen knee injury, and are you nervous about the pass game in general?
So I heard this stat that Jalen Hurts has won 5 games, well, 5 playoff games, and his highest uh, passing yards game was 154 yards.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
that's nuts.
So with Saquon now, I feel
Yeah,
like it's doable. I mean, I'm not sure about the knee injury. I haven't heard much about it, but he came back in and played, so it
yeah,
couldn't have been that bad. I mean, I'm sure it's, maybe swelled up after the game or whatever, but they have those magic shots in the locker room, so I feel like if he plays, he'll be fine unless something crazy happens again. But yeah, that was what was annoying about that was the I hate when this happens because like the Dallas Goddard play, what they called like the illegal man downfield, which is very,
yes, mm-hmm.
they need to relax on those calls. Like they're not allowed to get like 1 or 2 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage when you
Mm-hmm.
throw it, but the guy was like maybe 3 yards, and then the next play Jalen gets hurt. I'm like, oh, like you could have had just a walk in Saquon touchdown there, but now the quarterback is hurt. That's what kind of
Yeah.
bummed me out about that. But I don't know. I mean,
I didn't know
I
that
feel
stat. I mean, that kind of changes things knowing that stat. Because like me
yeah.
going into it from outside perspective, like I'm worried about it. I'm worried about their ability, like because it's kind of been the theme of the end of the year. We've talked about it. Like something is not working in the passing offense, but they're winning, and that's all that matters. And it's because they have Saquon. They have a good run game. But knowing that stat, I feel better about it because that means they know it. Like they obviously know how to win. They have a good defense. They have an unbelievable run game. But
Yeah.
like, just something about it is just doesn't look
It's
right.
not pretty.
No, it's not pretty at
They
all.
they just mess up. They can really dirty up the game and really,
Yeah.
just do things that other teams like they can control the clock really well, which they do, and they have a great defense. I mean, if you have a good offensive line and defensive line, that can take you really, really far.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's like one reason why like the Lions lost is,
Mm-hmm.
we'll get into that, but like a team like the Eagles they're built for this cold weather, this weird weather kind of situations in the playoffs when games mean the most. And I'm not that nervous, especially with like who they get to play against. I understand the teams like the Commanders are really hot right now, but being a divisional opponent, and they barely beat the Eagles when the Eagles had Kenny Pickett. So I mean, who knows? It's I mean, I'm not that worried, but if they were playing the Lions, I'd be a lot more worried.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
think that's
interesting to
fair.
say. Which is like an interesting thing to say, especially now with the Lions out, and even the Vikings. I would have been more nervous about the Vikings, I feel like, instead of the Rams.
Man, that's crazy. Thinking about the Vikings, like it feels like they got eliminated forever ago.
Yeah,
Like it just doesn't even feel like it's the same season. That's nuts. How that feels after just 2 weeks.
yeah,
Um, no,
but I'm not that nervous.
okay. Yeah, I saw a stat this week which kind of it led me to like kind of think about how the teams that are left in the playoffs. You can kind of exclude the Commanders, but um, every team that won this week was outgained by the opponents. Like every
Yeah, I
team
saw
that won
that.
this week had, which is nuts. Like that's crazy to
But
think about
not
because
not by like a little, by like a lot,
no, by a
by
large
like
margin.
150 yards or more.
Yeah, by a large margin. All four teams that won, but all four teams that won have a good run game.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, like Commanders don't have the best run game, but Jayden Daniels is super elusive and he's a big part of the run game.
They have a pretty good run game.
They have a pretty good run game. But the rest of them, like Mahomes didn't really throw the ball much. They have a solid run game. Actually, they might have the worst run game. And then
Still
obviously
pretty solid though.
the Bills, completely different team than we've seen in the last few years. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the Eagles, they are a run first team first and foremost, but whether it's Jalen or Saquon, and then the Commanders have a running quarterback as well. Like all quarterbacks are mobile. They all have solid run games. And it just is like it's just weird to wrap your head around because previously, at least last like 3 or 4 years, and we've kind of alluded this to the pod throughout the season, it was all about outscoring it. Like obviously you have to outscore everybody, but it was through the air. It was like all these high flying passing attacks is what got you there. And it just feels different this year. It's run game.
It's completely changed.
Yes, it's crazy. It's been like it's done a complete 180 in 2 years, a year and a half, and I just thought it was interesting.
Even like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2018, like Nick Foles was throwing for over 400 yards every game.
That game was insane. Like 49-42.
That's just the Super Bowl. The game before when they played
was it Minnesota?
Minnesota, he threw for like 440 yards.
Yeah, they killed Minnesota. That's
crazy.
Too. Yeah.
But now it's like if your quarterback throws for 230, I think Lamar threw for what, 238? Something like that.
I think so, something like that.
It feels like a lot now.
Yeah, which is weird. It's just weird. Matt Stafford had a good game. He threw for like 300 and something. A lot of that was at the end of the game when they were coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lamar threw for 254. Goff threw for 313, but they lost. Stroud threw for 2. Yeah, all the high passers of the week were on losing teams. It's nuts.
Those guys also had to throw a little bit more.
Yes, I mean, they have to throw a little bit more.
To stay on the Eagles really quick, it's interesting with this team, and now they're going against the Commanders. They're both 4-down territory teams.
And I love it.
But
I love it.
It's like it's scary when the Commanders are like 4th and 5. But it's like scarier. But it's almost like that's scary. But then like the Eagles, if it's 4th and 1, it's an automatic first down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we'll see with the whole Jalen thing. I mean, who knows with his knee, but it's dude, Jayden Daniels is
good.
Killing it.
Yeah, Jayden Daniels is killing it.
But yeah, a snow game's cool. There's a lot of like weird things going on about like people complaining about the playoffs with like snow and rain and all this like element stuff, and that's kind of annoying because that's football.
That's the point. Like that's what the point of football. Before it wasn't domes before, right? It was all like you played outside. That's what you did.
But I feel like there's like a pretty big group of people. I mean, it is the internet, but who think that these games should be played in a dome, which
I completely
the perfect element thing. And they're like, well, how are we going to determine the best team? It's like, well, it's the best team when both teams have to play in the elements, good or bad. Yeah. So
when you're playing against an opponent where the only thing that matters that week is that opponent, because you're not playing everyone that 1 week. You're both playing the same elements. Who cares? Like you both have to deal with it.
I agree. I mean, it's like golf. Like if it's pouring down rain, I mean, I've played in a tournament where it started snowing.
Well, that's what I mean. And for golf, even like the morning, like tee times are spread out throughout the day. Morning could have beautiful weather. Mm-hmm. Like afternoon could start raining and
40.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's just like you're not going to have then we're getting too much into the like trying to make everything perfect, reviewing every call, like doing the whole, like everything needs to be perfect, where that's not what it's meant to be. It's a game.
Yeah.
Right?
Human error is a part of sports.
It's a part of sports. Correct. I think there's certain things you could tweak, but yes, a big element of it is you got to deal with what you're given. And I saw that this week too, but I think it's stupid. Like snow games are awesome. I love snow games.
Oh, it's no one's ever been like, man, I wish there wasn't snow on the ground.
Like, do you remember the Browns Steelers snow game this year with Jameis? Slinging it.
That was awesome.
That was like the best game of the year. Like I love that.
Awesome.
And was Pittsburgh saying, hey, they only beat us because we played in the snow?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Be better.
Deal with it. Yeah. You're from Pittsburgh. Like you guys have snow. Like,
you're from an hour and a half away.
Yes. Like you could deal with it.
Cleveland's an hour and a half away. Like what are we talking about?
I remember the players complaining about that. Like the only reason they won is because and it's like that doesn't.
So stupid.
No, it's bullshit. Yeah. You both have to deal with elements, especially when they're both cold weather teams. Like give me a break.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I guess.
All right, but
LA is not really cold.
Eagles Rams was
still stupid.
I mean, they had to go to a completely different state and city to play their game. Their first game.
That's true.
They won.
Actually, yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, no one was complaining about that unless they lost. So, but anyway, what game do you want to talk about next? Philly and Rams were awesome. I know what game you should talk about next.
Which one should I talk about next?
Let's get this over with.
You want to do Chiefs Texans?
I know you do.
Yeah, okay. Chiefs Texans. Chiefs are the better team. Like we could all agree. Like I actually think I'm surprised the Texans put up as big a fight as they did, if I'm being honest.
I agree.
I did take them -8.5, which I was nervous about just because Chiefs don't win. We talked about last week. They don't win 1-score games. They covered miraculously. Like if I would have got them at 9.5, I would have been pissed with that whole That whole like it's just unbelievable. Like
Insane, dude.
unbelievable. Being up 10 or what was it? They're up 11, and then they can't even wind the clock out. Like they do it, and there's still like 12 seconds left on the clock. And I was like, "What the hell are you doing? Just punt it away and the game."
Two
like
scores.
it probably would have taken more time to just punt it. Like I do not get it, but whatever. And then
I heard him say on the broadcast that they made it sound like it made a lot more sense than it actually did. Like looking at it now. But anyway, keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that whole thing. Luckily, I got them at 8.5 and not 9.5 because that might be the worst beat of all time. I'm like that might like yeah.
It's like losing your fantasy. It's like losing your fantasy game when like your quarterback knees it and you lose by, a yard. Like, you're about to win by 0.5, but you lose by 0.2 instead.
Or just like even like a bet where that happens. Where like there was one. There was one another this year. Lamar his overhit of like by like 6. And he took 3 knees, but he ran them backwards so far because he was trying to wind clock that he missed it by 1 because he lost 8 yards on those knees. Like just shit like that. It sucks when it happens. But anyway, what I want to get into is, and we were texting about it during the game.
Yeah.
There's something going on with the Chiefs. Like Patrick Mahomes just coddled. I cannot stand some of those calls that were made. And I think a lot of people are in agreement, obviously. Like
98% of people will agree with you.
Yeah, like it's just as insane. Like you can say that there is no bias and there is no like I'm not saying it's fixed or anything, but there is definitely something inside of their heads that forces them to call these calls when it's Patrick Mahomes and it's not other quarterbacks. And you saw it the rest of the weekend. Like Lamar got hit out of bounds late a couple times. Jared Goff got his head taken off on a pick where he's technically he's protected, and he's protected in that.
He was concussed the rest of the game.
He was absolutely concussed, and he's a protected player. Their quarterbacks are protected on interceptions unless they're engaging in a block. He was so the calls that Patrick Mahomes gets where his helmet, sure, did it get grazed a little bit? Sure.
That first one by rule, we were texting about it. By rule,
sure.
It's very soft, but by rule, that was the only one I didn't have like a big thing about.
Big issue with. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, all right, I can kind of see it.
It was like the Brady won against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, whatever it was, 4 years ago, where it was like
worse.
That one was worse. I'll give you that.
That
but
one
like,
was a lot worse.
Gray's helmet.
He hit him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
The one you're talking about, they call it the head and neck area. The helmet was definitely in the neck area. And it slowly slid up. But I agree, that was a very soft call. But by rule,
the second one,
if that's the one you get, the second one was horrible.
The second one, Mahomes is running, stays in bounds, cuts back upfield, baits the defensive players, and drops to the ground, and they hit each other in the head. And they I get it from an optic standpoint. Maybe it looked like they hit but.
Well, you know what he's doing? He's doing the exact thing that NBA took out of their game, was when you get the defense to jump and you jump into them and get the foul.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And it's like the James Harden thing, the Trae Young thing. They did it for years, and they finally took it out. Like if you watch a game now, they don't do that anymore because they won't call it, because it's the dumbest call of all time. And especially with Mahomes, like there was that meme I sent you. It was someone's got to just knock this guy out and take the 15 yards and just say like, fuck it. Like this is what we're going to do. Like, like do what you want. We'll take the 15 yards.
He's going to get the call anyway. He's going to get it anyway.
Just knock his ass out.
And the thing that pisses me off the most, I think, of all, the thing that pisses me off the most of all of it, I think, is that sideline where he's towing the line of the sidelines. He gets hit. He's in bounds. He flops. He throws the ball. That shit pissed me off. And the play before that, he got taken down for a sack, and there's a guy's his arm was wrapped around like his shoulder, and he went down. He got up bitching at the ref, called the face mask. There was no face, like there was nothing, but like he was screaming. You could hear it on the mic, and I was just like, I can't watch it. Like
it's bad.
I saw a lot of people saying that we need to have a conversation about like Patrick Mahomes. Like this is getting ridiculous, and it just drives me nuts.
It's gonna fix itself. I mean, with all this, it's gonna fix itself, and that's a good thing about the internet. Sometimes it's like what are we even doing here?
Yes.
But I even hear like ex-players being like, There's no flopping in football. Like what are we doing?
Yeah.
This is insane. It is embarrassing. And he's either going to get his bell rung or they're going to stop calling it and he's going to have to play through that. But anyway, I get it. I know what you're saying.
It's frustrating as hell to watch.
This past game was pretty egregious.
It was like, you saw a lot of people saying, I never really bought into the Chiefs flag thing, but after watching this game,
I don't like people bitch about it, but like that one was just like, all right, I get it. That was pretty bad.
Yes. And I mean,
you even said like Burrow doesn't get that calls. I don't like when you do that because like, even if it was like other quarterbacks, like don't compare.
No one gets those calls.
But yeah. Just say like, he shouldn't call that.
Yes.
Yeah.
From my point of view, why it frustrates me so much is from the 3 times that Burrow took a face mask, like clear face mask, hand to the face, rip, like eyes looking at, and one more win against the Bengals in the playoffs where those could have caused them to win any of those games. Like that's where part of the frustration comes in at.
Yeah,
but I do love that Burrow doesn't bitch. He doesn't even those ones. He doesn't say a word. He just gets up and walks off the field. Like I do love that.
He's the man. Yeah, that's why people love him is because he's a fighter. But the Mahomes thing, they're getting pretty hateable like pretty fast if they already weren't. So it's I get it.
And then there's the video that comes up of like Travis Kelce, like from a couple years ago, complaining about the refs and bitching about the refs, and like because it was like a 2-point conversion against the Steelers that didn't go their way, and then other players from so it's just all of it together just drives me nuts. It is what it is. It's over. I can't I just can't watch it. I just don't want to watch them anymore. It needs to end.
They aren't fun to watch. It's very boring football. It's
the football isn't even fun.
The the Eagles is boring, or they're boring. But
you have
like
Saquon.
At least it's enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
But like it's like this weird. They run this weird offense, and it just seems like things just bounce their way. And again, we can say that happens to good teams, and it does. But at some point, they're not going to get that call, and then Mahomes' knee is going to hit the ground before he can get off the throw. Like there's like very, they're really riding that line. And anyway, they won the game.
Yeah, they did win the game.
Mahomes made a great play. Travis Kelce looked like he did 5 years ago. Yeah,
you knew that was going to happen. You knew Travis Kelce was going to.
I mean, we've been saying all year they're going to wait to unlock him, and they did. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they didn't really even have to. They just were like, oh, he's going to get open and he's going to make a play.
Yeah, they were in control the whole time. They had there was no doubt that they were winning that game, and
no one thought the Texans were going to win.
No one thought the Texans were going to win. I actually think the Texans put up a pretty good fight, though. For the most part, C.J. Stroud looked all right. He looked better than he had during the regular season. He played better in the playoffs than he did during the regular season. Texas defense is good, man. Like their defense really is like, and we were texting about it. Like their defensive line, they get after it. I know that Patrick was under some pressure, especially early in the game. They got a good team. They're going to be good for years to come. CJ's develops a little bit. His pocket awareness is atrocious. He just it seems like he caves in the pocket. He had a couple good runs though. But there's just times where he looks like he's lost. Like if his first read's not there, he looks lost and he takes a sack. So I know he was the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL, I think, besides Caleb Williams. And I don't have the stats on it, but I'm sure if you looked it up, they've graded to him is probably a good amount. I just think he needs improve there, and I think they're going to be a good team. Get some receivers back, get healthy, and they'll be fine.
Their offensive lines stink.
Yes, their offensive line is garbage. Yes, I will give you that.
Yeah.
I will give you that. But yeah, we'll see. Chiefs obviously moving on. Was it 6th straight year or 7th? 7th straight year in the AFC Championship game. Can't wait to watch them again. Clearly, I'm excited to watch them. I'm just so excited. And again, part of it is like for me is playing them so many times in the playoffs until recently, and some of the calls that would we had the whole 5th down situation in the Bengals game that's like never happened before in NFL history.
The redo,
yeah, they gave them a redo on like a 3rd down play and they converted. And it's like, then we stopped them again, and it just unbelievable. And then the call at the end of the game of the last AFC Championship game where we probably was a foul. Like for being honest, the one where Joseph Ossai pushed Patrick Mahomes out of bounds with like 8 seconds left, and they gave him 15 yards and kicked the field goal. And then this year during the regular season, the 4th and 19 or 4th and 16 penalty that was like a 54-yard. Like it just is. It's frustrating.
Are we talking about the Bengals or the Chiefs right now?
I know. I'm giving my perspective of why I'm so angry. Like, I think it's because I've personally been affected emotionally too many times to see it happen again. But that being said, I kind of want them to win this week, and we'll get into that later.
Whoa, I was about to say, okay, so let's get into the Bills-Ravens. I mean, the Chiefs are about to play the most likable quarterback in the league.
Yes, yeah. Although Josh Allen flops a shit ton too. He is definitely a flopper.
Okay, explain.
He just flop. Like, I mean, he's like if you watch him, he baits calls all the time, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, he baits calls. I'll send you like a monologue of him. Like there's someone created like a whole like highlight reel of all his flops throughout his career.
Brian's a hater.
I am a hater. I am absolutely a hater. I love Josh Allen though. I do love Josh Allen. Yeah,
he's the man. If there's, I mean, so let's talk about Bills Ravens really quick.
Yeah.
So now Lamar, I haven't actually heard many people say Lamar can't win the game. Big game.
So I know we talked, like, I think I texted you this before the game started, and I was like, regardless of what happens, the narrative coming out of this game is going to be that about
either
one
Josh
of the
Allen,
like correct
or
one of these
Lamar
quarterbacks
Jackson
can't
win the
win.
game.
Right.
Yeah.
More so than the other person winning the game. Like that's going to be the storyline. I think the way it played out though is the only way that it could have gone this way without that being the story is Lamar played like shit in the first half. Like he's big part of the reason why they lost. Those 2 turnovers hurt. The interception throwing to no one was terrible. And then the fumble when they're on like the 15 or 20 yard line about to score. And then it gets taken back all the way to the 6 or whatever it was. Or like it's a big part of why they were trailing at the end of the game. So like you can't forget that. But I think because he brought them back when it looked like they were dead, led a great game-winning drive. Mark Andrews had the fumble in the second half, and then Mark Andrews drops the 2-point conversion. It all got deflected to Mark Andrews, which like he had a fumble and he dropped the 2-point conversion. Like he absolutely deserves a large portion of the blame. But like this is the only way that it wasn't going to be about the quarterbacks. Was if there was something like blatant. It was a good game. Quarterbacks played decently well, and someone else made a massive mistake, and Mark Andrews happened to make 2 massive mistakes. And like, I can't remember when he fumbled. I want to say it was at the end of the third quarter, maybe, or was it it might have been in the fourth.
And it was like right when they got into their territory too.
Yes, like it was a great. It was like a 20-yard catch.
Like 10 minutes left in the fourth.
Is that what it was?
I think I remember seeing that.
It was a massive play, but like the defense for the Ravens stepped up in the second half. Only held them to 6 points, I think, in the second half. I thought the game was over at halftime. I thought we were going to see kind of Lamar meltdown after his 2 turnovers. Like I thought we were going to see 2 more turnovers. But there is a lot to it. Like Lamar turned the ball over like 5 or 6 times the entire year, and he turned the ball over twice. He hadn't had a 2 turnover game, and I don't know how long it was. It had been like 16 or 17 games, and he had a two turnover game. I think there's something about just playing good teams consecutively in the playoffs, which makes it harder. You're not playing a good team and then playing 2 bad teams and then playing a good team. So like your stats are obviously always going to look worse in the playoffs. But I feel bad for Mark Andrews, man. I do. It sucks. I can't imagine.
I think he led tight ends and touchdowns this year too. So it's like
he was great.
Brutal.
He was great all year.
And he's a great player. He just it just sucks that had to happen. And plus, like you forget that it was really cold and it was snowing, right?
Yeah, it was snowing. That was the second snow game. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you need to make those plays, but I mean, come on, it
was a hell of a game, though.
Yeah, it was an awesome game.
I did want the Ravens to lose, though. Personally,
me too.
I wanted, one, because I do like Josh Allen, and 2, I just, being a Bengals, like I don't want the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Like I want the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. I want a lot of people cheer for their division because they want to show how tough it is. Yeah,
so annoying.
Yeah,
that's so annoying.
Yeah,
that's so annoying.
I'm the complete opposite. I wanted the Steelers to beat the Ravens because I knew how bad the Steelers were. That there's no way they were making it to the Super Bowl. Like that was what my head was going through. Like when they played last week, I was like, all right, Steelers probably have a decent chance to win the Ravens just because they're in the division. I know they're not going anywhere, so I want the Steelers to beat the Ravens, and then Steelers just get demolished by whoever they play.
That's so funny. You're a hater.
I am such a hater. I'm going to give you my biggest hater like aspect of this here shortly.
Okay.
I want someone in the NFC to win. That's all I'm going to say. I want someone I don't care who it is. I want the Eagles to win. Yeah, I want the Eagles to win. Yeah,
we got there. Hey. Wow. Okay, so let's talk about Lions Commanders.
Hold on. I got one more Bills Ravens thing. So I do think it's pretty fascinating, and I know this has been talked about this week. Josh Allen. his evolution from like what he used to be like to this year. And a lot of people are saying like there wasn't a bulletin material. Like the Bills are always going to be good. I know. I remember I picked the Dolphins to win division. Like I thought the Bills were going to take a massive step back this year. They lost a bunch of defensive pieces. They lost a bunch of offensive. Like I thought this was going to be a mini rebuilding year where they might make the playoffs, but they're going to be a 9-10 win team and not really make any noise. And I think the reason Josh Allen completely evolved his game. He went from turnover machine to like throwing, like taking risks, taking chances to being what this team needed him to be, which was make plays when you have to, use your legs, don't turn the ball over, and we're going to win games. And that's like what he threw for 120 yards this game, and he still looked dominant. Yeah, and he looked like still couldn't stop him. He's using his legs, not turning the ball over. He almost did on that one. And I think he really wanted to score at the other game. He almost pitched that to James Cook, I think, and I was like,
Curtis Samuel.
Like so it's in there still. It's in his head still that he wants to make these like massive plays that I find hilarious. Like I just imagine a coach on the sideline, like before every drive, Josh, do not do something stupid. Like just hold on to the ball. We're gonna be fine.
Horrible thing to tell your quarterback before he goes out for.
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean. It's like I'm kidding, obviously, but like it's almost like putting like I don't know. But I just think it's pretty cool to see. He went from like gunslinger to ball control, run the ball. I think he threw one pass over 10 yards in that entire game. And, like, it's just crazy.
Amari Cooper didn't even have a catch.
Has he had a catch all year? I thought that was going to be a massive trade for them.
He had, like, 250 yards total. I'm not kidding.
Is that what I'm actually going to look that up.
He's been, like, a decoy. I think I looked at it in the regular season. He had, like, 17 catches for like 215 yards or 250 yards.
Yeah, no, he had 24 catches the entire year. This is both Browns and Bills. 24 catches for 250 yards.
Yeah, that's insane.
Or no, that must be that must.
I think it's just for the Bills.
Yeah, for the Bills, 20 for 297 and 2 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
Insane. The 24 for 250 was just with the Browns.
Yeah,
I know he had like a personal thing that caused some of that issues, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, to get back on like what you're saying about the Bills is it was just like they lose, there's that big thing about like who's he going to throw to? You lose Diggs and a bunch of guys on defense, and then also you have like the Rams and the Commanders. They weren't supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 teams in the divisional round, and you're like, the Rams were supposed to be rebuilding. I remember that Vikings-Rams game we talked about on the podcast. There was like that rumor if like the Rams lose, they might trade Stafford to
that's right.
the Vikings and Cooper Kupp. And then the Commanders were like one of the worst teams in the league last year, and this was a rebuilding year. And Jayden Daniels looks like he looks like he's going to be a better Lamar Jackson. And how crazy is that to say?
That is crazy.
That is
crazy. Yeah, I don't know if he'll be better. Like Lamar's probably going to win us their MVP. So like, it's hard. And we talked about this last week. Like sometimes we got to calm ourselves down on like this rookie. But he looks really good. He looks fantastic. I agree. He looks really good.
He's more playoff wins than Lamar.
No, Lamar has like Lamar has 3, and he has 2.
Jayden Daniels has
2.
There you go. So he's one away.
He's close. Yeah, it's a good.
I'm just saying, like he's unbelievable. I mean, he's everything that RG3 was gonna be.
Mm-hmm. Meant to be. Yeah. Until he got hurt. Yeah. No, I agree. I think Jayden Daniels is awesome. But kind of on that, actually, this is a perfect segue to this. I was watching, I think I was at the gym or something. I was watching SportsCenter. It was just on one of the TVs. So I couldn't really hear what they were saying, but like the bar popped up of what they were talking about. And it said, and this is kind of my whole, we need to pump the brakes a little bit when it comes to these, like we did it with CJ Stroud. I think Jayden Daniels is better than CJ Stroud. I think he had a much better year. He's taken his team farther. His defense is a lot worse. Like the team he has is a lot worse, which I think makes it amplifies how good he is. But they said, is Jayden Daniels the best quarterback remaining in the playoffs?
That's insane.
And I was like, what are we doing? I was like, this is sport. Like this is what's
Fox Sports 1.
No, it was Sports. It was literally SportsCenter. Like
that's insane. I was just saying that he has the potential to be a Lamar type, but he's a better thrower than Lamar.
Correct. And I completely agree. Like, I get what you're saying, but like
I'm not saying he's going to be better than Lamar. I'm saying he has the potential to be.
Yes. And this was where like, and I don't know. I think I want to say it was Jeff Saturday was on there. I don't know who else was on there, but I don't know what they said. I just saw it come up, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, who's about to try and win his third Super Bowl in a row, has 3 Super Bowls. Has only lost like 2 playoff games in his entire career. He's like 16-2 or 15-3 in the playoffs. You have Josh Allen, if Josh Allen, who has, yes, he hasn't made it to Super Bowl, but he's made it to multiple AFC Championship games and has career-wise, like stat-wise, been unbelievable in the playoffs, winning record in the playoffs. And then you have Jalen Hurts, who's been to a Super Bowl already. Like, it just was like, what are we doing? And this is the whole, like, you're looking for clicks. Like, you're just trying to create storylines that aren't there. And I was like...
It's like, I can understand, like, I'd probably rather have Jayden Daniels than Jalen Hurts. But at the same time, it's like, maybe. Yeah, that's maybe. That's the conversation. Not a guy who's in the GOAT debate already and another guy who I was listening to Ryan Russillo's podcast and he had Matt Leinart on, and Matt Leinart's like, Ryan Russillo asked him, what quarterback would you want to be in today's NFL? And he's like, Josh Allen. Like, look at him. He's 6'5", 6'6". Yeah, he can run and he has a cannon of an arm. Like he is literally built for all this. Like he's like the guy you'd want to be. He's like the creative player in Madden. And same with Lamar. He's like another guy. He's like the fastest guy in the field, and like him jogging is faster than 99% of the NFL.
Yeah. No, it's true.
That's insane. And see, that's why I don't fucking watch those shows. Yes, is because
exactly.
You have to, dude. It's so annoying. Yeah. That's so annoying.
I wanted to bring it up because it went back to our conversations earlier earlier this year where we talk about just the media narratives, and I was like, what are we doing? Like this is absurd. This is insane. Is he playing great? Absolutely. Would anyone take him over Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in the playoffs right now? Jalen Hurts, sure. You want to have a conversation there because he's hurt and whatever. Sure, but the other two, no chance.
That's the conversation, and it stops there.
Yes. In this game, who would you rather have as a quarterback? Not is he the best quarterback left in the playoffs? Like
saying he's better than Patrick Mahomes is insane. Is like a fireable offense.
Yes, like it was the stupidest conversation I have ever.
Even saying it to a guy who might win the MVP is insane.
Yeah, exactly. And someone who's had playoff success and been doing this for 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, who they play in the first round?
The
Commanders. Okay, so we played against the Bucks, and so let's talk about the Lions and Commanders.
Mm-hmm. We should talk about this game.
So this is going to be kind of crazy to say. Actually, it's not really, not at all, actually. But Jayden Daniels kind of got like a pretty good ride. I understand that the Lions were a great team, but the injuries they finally caught up.
Absolutely.
And then like I mean, you basically lose Jared Goff. Like you're going to sit here and tell me he didn't get concussed on that play? Like that's insane. Teddy Bridgewater came in. I mean, he was coaching high school football
like
2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He led a touchdown drive too, man. They scored a touchdown.
He got lucky.
Yeah, he did. It was like some double reverse.
Jameson Williams was responsible for the best play and the worst play of that game.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But we were texting during that, and like during that Jameson Williams throw, it's like they didn't need to do that.
No.
Their offense was looking completely fine. Mm-hmm. They didn't have to get weird with it. Yeah. They were going down the field, and then like these weird turnovers started to happen. And
yeah, and this is the game I think there's the most to talk about and most that to me that comes out of it, and it's mostly Lions based. It kind of sucks because it felt like it was their year. Like it felt like this was the year. You have the two most coveted coordinators for head coaching jobs in the NFL. You know you're losing them both at like
now got jobs.
They are now, when we're recording this, they Glenn signed with the Jets earlier today, and then obviously Ben Johnson went to the Bears yesterday. So like you have that. We've talked about it. Probably the best coaching staff in the NFL. They lost their defensive line coach to be the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. Like they're going to get absolutely pillaged from that. Like this is what happens when you have these like unbelievable teams. You have all the pieces. You have a solid defense. You have best offensive line in football. You have the best running back combo. I actually think Jahmyr Gibbs, if he was in Philly and had the opportunities that Saquon had, I think he'd give him a run for his money for best running back in the NFL. Like I think he's a freak. He's so good. He's so like he makes the first guy miss every time. He's so fast. It feels like he gets 10 yards per carry. And you have solid. You have very good receivers. You have a great tight end. Honestly, your weak link is probably your quarterback. But with all those pieces around it, with the coaching, with the you could control. Like he's good enough, obviously I still think he's a top 10 quarterback, top 12 quarterback in the NFL to make it work. So it's not like you had a bottom tier quarterback. It's just the injuries, man. And then you get decimated on defense. And then one of your starting corners goes out with a completely like his arm snapped in half in like the first drive of the game. So you lose another starter and you just, and then after that, I think it was over, and it sucks. I feel bad for Lions fans. You get home field advantage for the first time in your history. You win 15 games for the first time in your history, and you go 0-1 in the playoffs. And it just, I feel bad for them. This was the year. Like I know they still have, they'll still be good, and they still got some pieces, and obviously, but sometimes it builds up, and your window's a year or two, and if you don't make it, that mental drop off to the next year is just, it's like I can't imagine. Like it's going to be unbelievably tough for them to get back, I think.
Especially the year after you lose both coordinators. No team's ever made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Especially when your coordinators are Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Probably the two best head coaching candidates that in the last couple of years, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely better.
Vrabel's good.
Last time I remember this happening was the Eagles losing Steichen and who's the guy who went to Arizona?
Gannon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those two are the last like big coveted ones that both left, which it does suck. But yeah, I mean, the Lions, they just got so unlucky, and it just caught up to them. And I just feel like the Commanders got a little bit of they got a pretty good draw. I mean, the Bucks were like a feisty team, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, they weren't winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, they were not going to they'd maybe win a game and then lose in the divisional.
It would have been interesting if they got like the Eagles first round or something, or but
see how different it would have been. But
yeah,
and then also on top of it, like you go 0-1 in the playoffs. NFC North goes 0-3 in the playoffs after we talk about them all year long being the toughest division in football. They go 0-3, which is also nuts.
Now.
Yeah, and that's that's true. Yeah,
NFC East.
The NFC East.
Interesting.
That's right. What they used to call them, the NFC least, because they were so bad for so many years.
Okay, Brian, we don't have to pick. We don't have to. You have the Browns in your division.
Yeah, that's true. We do have the Browns in our division.
And the Bengals.
And the Bengals. That's a good point. Yeah. But yeah, so I feel bad for Lions fans, and then like to your point about the JMO play, like it was on both sides of that game, but so cute on like some of these plays when you don't need to be. Like you're down 10
dumb.
With like 13 minutes left, so you still definitely have time to come back in this game. 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and you do like a double reverse pass to a wide receiver and
triple coverage.
And I know everyone's saying you have to have the like wide receiver needs to know to throw it away, but like when you're in the moment, especially.
Oh, I
like,
know.
Like
I get that.
You're trying to make a play, and like you want to not have that happen. You don't call that play like that. Like it just.
I mean, Ben Johnson's
down the field.
In practice, when they work on that play, he's got to be like, "Hey, man, if he's not wide open, you got to throw it away. You are a wide receiver. Our quarterback can't even make that throw.
No, yeah, no one can make that throw. Tom Brady couldn't make that throw.
Easy.
Yeah. But my point is, got too cute. Like they were moving the ball up and down the field at will. The only time they weren't moving the ball is when they turned it over, and they turned it over 5 times. And by the end of it, it ended up being 5 times, which is insane. It just
crazy.
Sucks. That pick six completely turned the game. Yeah, to your point, I think Jared Goff might have gotten concussed on that play for sure.
Yeah.
And
dude,
so
he almost died. That was a ridiculous hit that didn't get called.
Yes.
I was seeing.
He's defenseless.
It's the same meme every time, but it always makes me laugh. It's like if this was Mahomes, this guy would be put in handcuffs.
Yes, or like this guy would be like taken out and
shot on scene. Yeah.
Yes, right. Electric chair. Yeah, for everyone to see. Yeah.
So funny.
But, yeah, I feel bad for the Lions. God, it sucks, but it is what it is. Ben Johnson leaving. A lot of Lions fans are very upset at Ben Johnson, which I find interesting.
Who gives a fuck?
Because he left for the Bears, and a lot of them. I do think they need to change that rule about like interviewing coaches.
Yeah, they need to do it at the end of the season. Like,
just wait. Like,
that's so
I know
stupid.
they want like the buzz and the everything to be like during the games. You can talk about it, who they're getting looked at,
Yeah.
but it has to affect them when it comes to preparing for games at some level.
Yeah. Even if it's like an hour meeting, it's still something in the back of your mind or something you feel like you have to do. And it's kind of like the transfer portal thing in college. The transfer portal opens up in December, and like you still have, the best teams in the nation still have to play, so they're at such a disadvantage already. And so it's like, what are we even doing? Just wait till January 15th or whenever, January 20th. Like, just wait 1 month. Wait, that's not going to do anything. It makes too much sense, dude. I mean, there's so many things in the world right now. I'm like, this just makes too much sense. What do you like? Real quick, my golf course that I practice at, they completely lost the chipping green. Like, it looks like a bad fairway. It's how bad it is. But I keep getting emails about these new stairs they're putting in to walk up to one of the tees. I'm like, what are we doing? That's so stupid.
Oh, that's funny.
There's not even like, you can't even chip on the screen. It just looks like it's anyway.
It's dead.
Sorry.
They lost the green. Yeah. That sucks. But yeah, no, like Bill Belichick put it right. He's like, yeah, sure. Even if it's not that much, like that time consuming, to your point, even if it's only an hour or two, the mental thought of potentially relocating your family, the amount of money you're going to make, like your lifestyle change that can come from it, it affects you, and it affects
getting your staff
for those games. And that's why a lot of the Lions fans are pissed, because 2 days after he agrees to go to the Bears, which is fine. I think a lot of, like, it was Raiders seemed like a smokescreen. He has his staff picked out when he signed, and so there's definitely been conversation. I get the frustration from
conspiracies that he lost that game on purpose. He told Jameson Williams to throw that ball.
That's right, he did. I think I heard that too. He said, "Hey, throw it no matter what. Throw it no matter what." Stupid.
There's another. Yeah, it's so bad. But anyway, let's talk about the national championship really quick.
Yeah. To tie it up, games were great. I enjoyed them.
Awesome games. Probably the best weekend of football.
Yeah, best weekend of football. Hope this weekend's better. And one last thing for my hater thing. Like, I just talked about how much I hate Patrick Mahomes, and I can't wait to see them. Like, I can't wait. I don't want to watch them win anymore. I think I want them to beat the Bills.
Why?
He's already won 2, so if he wins another one, whatever, I want the Bengals to be the team that beats Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, it's because I told you, like, it's better that the better the Chiefs do, the better the victory is going to be.
Yes, like, I want to be, like, we're the team that have beat them in the playoffs. I want to be the team that wins the Super Bowl in the AFC next.
But don't you want Joe Burrow to win more Super Bowls than him? So you don't want to win a Super Bowl.
One. We're not going to win 3. Like, the Bengals, no chance with the way the organization's run. I just want 1, and I want to be the next one. Like, I want to be the next one that slayed the dragon. And it's like, I like Josh Allen. I do not want to watch the Chiefs play anymore. And I hope they lose to whoever they play in the NFC Championship game. But I'm so much of, like, a hater that I do want him to win, because I want the Bengals to be the team that dethrones them.
Oh, if it's Bills Eagles, I'm going to the Super Bowl.
Are you?
Yeah. I made
it's in New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Yeah, nice. Well, yeah, that's right. They got a snowstorm this week, and everyone's like, thank God they didn't have it during the Super Bowl. Yeah.
But
do you have tickets?
My buddy, no, but I can find a way. My buddy's a huge Bills fan.
That's awesome.
And, like, die hard. And I'm like, if it's awesome. Bills Eagles, we're going.
That's sick.
We're gonna figure it out.
I always said, like, if the Bengals make it again, I'm going. Like, the tickets are like $6,000. Like, they were like $6,000, so, like, I just couldn't pull the trigger.
Well, it was in LA. That sucks.
Yeah. But if they go again, I'm going, because, like, it doesn't happen that often. You got, like, I don't know. I put enough mental and financial investment in a team. What's another, like, $10,000?
Yeah. No, I get it, dude. I get it. It's like, it could be a once in a lifetime thing. Yes. And I was telling my buddy, I'm like, I'll find a way. We're gonna find a way.
And those two teams playing each other specifically, right? You know.
What do you mean?
Like, the fact that it's Bills Eagles, like, that it might never. Chances are, even like, Eagles making the Super Bowl, sure, it can happen again. They just did it a couple years ago. They won in 2018 or whatever. But Bills Eagles playing each other, like, the odds.
Oh yeah. And he's like one of my best friends. Yeah,
correct,
yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be cool. All right, let's talk about the national championship.
Yep. What'd you think?
You know what, man? I just don't like watching college football, but
the hype was not there for the game. That was the weird thing to me. Like, and I think there's something with how late it is. Like, not that you forget. Like, I was excited to watch it, and not that you forget it's happening, but, like, I didn't feel like I didn't see anything on TV. Maybe it's because I'm just in an NFL mindset. But like,
Yeah, we're more NFL
also,
people. That's why.
but like, I just
I
feel like the
mean,
hype wasn't
Notre
there.
Dame and Ohio State. Like, if you were in Cincinnati, like if we
Oh
were still
yes,
living in Cincinnati, those two fan bases are all over Ohio and
everywhere.
Indiana and all. Like, that's like
Mm-hmm.
the hub
Mm-hmm.
of those
A
fan
lot in
bases. So,
there's a lot here though too. There's a lot in
well,
Chicago, a lot
yeah.
in Notre
I mean,
Dame, a lot of,
you're close.
yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't even think it was the hype. I just think, I mean, we were texting back and forth during the game. Like, I thought Ohio State, when they went up 2 scores, I'm like, here it goes.
Yeah,
Like, here comes Ohio
which would have
State.
like sucked because like you want it to be a
Yeah.
good game, right? You want it to be close.
Yeah. And then Notre Dame coming back made it like interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Then that 3rd and 11 play was pretty awesome. Just a good play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't want either team to win, but I was just watching it. I'm like, I'm just not really into it.
Yeah, I beginning of the game was great. Actually, like Notre Dame's first drive, I think was awesome. Like
18 plays, like
just
15 minutes long. Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought it was awesome. It was like old school football, run the ball.
Yeah.
Went for it on fourth down like 3 times, got it. Like I love that. And then obviously offense stalled. Ohio State figured some stuff off on offense and went up big. And I'm just like we said it. I'm just glad they made it close at the end. And like the fourth quarter was entertaining. So you were kind of on the edge of your seat. Notre Dame forced fumble. The field goal was stupid. I don't know why the hell they tried to kick. So stupid.
And then
you still had to score 2 touchdowns. Yeah. You honestly and I saw people saying this, because you kicked it, you deserve to miss it because it didn't make any sense. It's like that's karma for even trying to kick it. But honestly, you know what? Because he missed it, it didn't really do anything because they still need to score 2 touchdowns. Yeah, you needed to get 2 2-point conversions, but regardless, you needed to score 2 touchdowns.
You had to go for that. You had to go. You had to go.
I think if they would have gotten, because I think it was like 4th and goal from the 7. I think if they would have gotten like 2 or 3 yards, like they tried to do, they would have. But yeah, and then that 3rd and 11. So again, I know not a Bengals podcast, but the Bengals fans knew going into the game that Al Golden was going to be their defensive coordinator. So that he's Notre Dame's defensive coordinator. So like my investment in the game was trying to understand what kind of defense he runs. And I was pretty bummed after that 0 blitz leaving Jeremiah Smith one-on-one. But like, regardless of what the call is, people are going to saw a lot of that going around, which is true. But I was like, why the hell would you run a 0 blitz and leave him one-on-one? But besides the point, I wanted them to stop him there, and I wanted to see like a game-winning drive or a game-tying drive.
I mean, he also made an unbelievable throw too.
It was a great throw. The pressure just didn't get there. If the pressure would have gotten there, it would have been different. But I think it was Travion Henderson picked up the blitz, like unbelievable blitz pickup up the middle, which gave him enough time to throw the ball. But it turned out to be a better game than I thought it was going to be. Like after the first quarter.
I completely agree. Yeah. I was like, oh no. Because Notre Dame did not look good on offense, and I'm like this. And from what I've heard all years, they're not built to come from behind. So
yeah, the quarter because they can't throw that well.
I saw a couple throws that guy made. I'm like, oh, this is their guy.
Yeah,
but then he started doing it.
Their backup, I think, is a better pure passer, but that's not the offense they run. They want to run that kind of
read option kind of thing.
Yeah, read option, run
college ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
yeah,
good game. Ohio State champions. I did hit my the big bet I placed was plus 14.5 Notre Dame, and I think it was over 30. I teased the over and down to 30.5. It was like plus 100. So my big bet
39.5.
Was it 39.5 that I did?
Yeah.
So it came down to the wire though. It was close. That last touchdown for Notre Dame was big. When he missed the field goal, I was like, fuck. Like that's when I was like, shit.
Oh yeah, that would have.
Yeah. It would have kept it under 14. So if they blew so personally, when he kicked it, I was like, okay, this at least for my bet purposes will help. Like, could hit my bet, and then he missed it. I was like, fuck, you deserve to miss it for even trying to kick it. So, but yeah, so I do love the aggressiveness. Not even only in that game, all the games in the NFL you brought up earlier, 4th down. We saw a lot of that this week. It was a bad week for much take the points crowd. Yeah,
it was.
I loved it.
I'm pretty sure. God, what game was it? Was it the Ravens? They didn't punt once?
I think that's correct, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Did the Commanders punt? The Commanders might not have punted either. I don't think the Commanders there might not have been a punt in that game.
I know the Lions punted.
Did they punt? I'm actually going to look that up.
I'm pretty sure there was because I actually had that thought. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't a punt, but there was I think the Commanders put in once and the Lions put in twice.
No punts. Oh,
for her.
One punt. You're right. One punt. No punt returns. One punt for each of them.
Okay.
Damn. Did the Ravens not punt? Ravens did not punt.
Ravens didn't punt once.
No, Ravens didn't punt. Craziness. But good games. I'm excited for this week. Shall we get to our bets?
We should update everyone on how we did last week.
I did great. No, I'm just kidding. But coming off an 0-3, it felt great because I started the week 2-0, and I felt like I was the Ravens money line was, which I lost that bet, but I wanted the Ravens to lose. That's why it was so hard for me to take Ravens money line because I just did not.
Well, even if you took 1.5, they still lost by 2.
Still would have lost. Yeah. So I had I went 2-1. I had Chiefs minus 8.5, which ended up being more of a sweat than it should have been. And then I had Rams Eagles over 43.5, which I thought was dead in the water once we heard snow was coming. I was like, oh shit, that was a terrible pick.
I know.
I thought that was dead in the water.
It was looking like it was under, and then all of a sudden it just opened up.
Yeah. Well, Saquon had that long run, and then the Rams went down and scored real quick. And that's so what kind of cleared it. Yeah.
And you texted me right away.
Ravens. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Ravens money line was a loss. And then Mike went, so that brought my record to 41-19. Kind of nice to have a 4-1. Should toot my own horn there. Lions minus 9.5. It's tough.
What are you talking about?
What?
It's kind of nice to have a 4-1.
Like, I'm in the 40s and still in the teens.
You're
that's
not
nuts.
even in the teens. You're 41-10, right?
No, I'm 41-19.
Oh.
Yeah.
41.
But think about that. 4-1.
No, that's great. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Killing it.
That's crazy.
It's bragging.
And I have placed a bet on every single one of these. Like, I have actually bet every single one of these bets.
Wow, that's great. So you're way up.
Yes. Depends on I place a lot of bets I probably shouldn't place, but yes, my straights are good. The straights are good. And then Mike went 0-2-1, bringing his record to 31-24-3, which is also crazy. You have 3 pushes and I don't have any, which is weird.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's very weird. Lions minus 9.5. Eagles minus 6. Eagles minus 6, which you should have won. Like, that's the one that hurts. Yeah. That would end up being a push. And then Chiefs Texans over. I think it was 42.5 or 41.5, 41.5, but it was ended up at like 37 or whatever it was. So
yeah.
All right. So I go first this week. So this week, since there's only 2 games, Mike and I talked about it. Do you still want to do 3, or do you want us to do 2?
Well, since we're doing anytime touchdowns,
do you want to do 3
as well?
Okay. Yeah. So we talked about it. Since there's only 2 games, we're still gonna take 3 picks. We can take an anytime touchdown, but we can't take anything below minus 150, which probably is honestly only Saquon. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm assuming it's only Saquon.
It's only Saquon,
minus 230. Yeah. And then, okay. All right, so I go first. Chiefs are minus 1.5 point favorites, and Eagles are minus 6. Games in Philly. Have you looked at the weather for these games yet?
Yeah, Philly's going to be good weather. It's like 39 degrees and sunny.
I'm going to take Eagles minus 6.
Damn it, dude.
I knew you're going to. The only reason I took that is because I had a feeling that's what you wanted to take, and I feel like that's the best bet of the week right now.
That's so annoying.
Sorry. That's a minus 112.
Yeah, I hope they win by 5. Yeah, minus 112. All right, I'm gonna go Bills plus 1.5 at minus.
You like Bills plus 1.5?
Yeah, I want to go to the Super Bowl, so I hope both these hit.
Bills plus 1.5, and that is minus 105. Okay. All right, I like that. Yeah, it's tough. Anytime. I think I'm going to go at anytime.
Okay. There's some good ones.
I'm going to go Josh Allen minus 115.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I just feel like I don't know, I think he's had 20 rushing touchdowns this year. He had 2 last week. Anytime they get within the 5, it feels like and like last week I had a big parlay resting on James Cook anytime touchdown. He got down to the one twice, and Allen ran it in both times. It's going to happen. So I'm going to do Josh Allen.
Cool.
Anytime
so
touchdown.
That means I'm going to take James Cook.
I like that. You just want one of them?
What? One of them what?
Did you want one of them the whole time?
Yeah, I was thinking either Josh Allen or James Cook. I didn't really care which one.
Okay. And that was James Cook is plus 125. I like the plus 125.
Yeah.
All right. And then my last one, I kind of want to do it anytime in the first game. It's hard to take anyone in the first game that, like, any Eagle that's not Saquon or Jalen Hurts, just because the pass game is tough.
Yeah, you just don't know. Terry McLaurin's been scoring like crazy.
Yeah, he has. He scored a lot during the season too. I think he was like second in the NFL in receiving touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'm gonna double up on the Commanders Eagles, and I'll probably run this as a parlay as well. I'm gonna do the over 47.5.
Ooh.
I just think the Commanders offense is very good, and I just think they're gonna put up points. I think the Eagles are gonna win, and they're gonna have to score points, a good amount of points to outscore them. I just think the Commanders offense is good enough where they can score on anybody.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play with, I'm pretty sure. What week do they play?
So
early in the season, was it like earlier?
They played early when Daniels was hurt. Like he almost wasn't going to play. Like he hurt his ribs on like the second game, and then so like they blew him out like 41-10 or whatever. And then when they played last time, Jalen Hurts got hurt and Kenny Pickett played. So like we haven't really seen them at full strength with their quarterbacks play each other. I think it's a great matchup. Like we didn't really talk about like the matchups too much, but I thought that was going to be the early.
Not true.
What?
The first thing you said about the first time they played.
Oh, was that not the game that he got hurt? Who did they play?
I don't know, but they played week 11.
Oh, did they?
And,
maybe I had that backwards.
And the Eagles won 26-18.
Oh, okay, maybe I had that backwards. Who did they play when he got hurt? I thought that was the Eagles.
I'm not sure, but
it doesn't matter. Well, thank you for clarifying. I don't know why I had that in my head.
It's okay. I just wanted to make sure. 26-18. I feel like it's going to be that kind of game.
Yeah.
But my last pick, I'm going to go Travis Kelce plus 125 anytime touchdown.
Travis Kelce plus. Okay. I like that. I actually do like that one a lot. I'll probably put that in my...
I picked that over Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Just...
All right, so Kelce, he said it's plus 125 again?
Yeah, I just feel like he just finds a way to get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
In these situations.
Oh, he does in the playoffs for sure. And I already know it's going to happen. I almost just took Chiefs money line because I feel like I know what's going to happen. Like they're going to win. They're going to win. I just know it. We've seen this play out like every year.
I really want. I'm going to be a big Bills fan this week.
Yeah, it's fair. I think
especially
a lot of people
if the Eagles win.
I think a lot of people are.
Which is surprising.
I'm going to be a whatever happens kind of guy, I think.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah.
No angry text for me this week.
No what?
No angry text for me this week.
So you're like, you know what, Mahomes? Flop.
No, I will be pissed if you flop.
I don't know. You just said.
You'll get some text from me. Don't worry.
All right. You know what we're going to do this week?
Do you want to do a mix?
I was going to say we're not going to do a parlay, and we're going to post it on our Twitter.
Okay. I like that.
So follow @AthletePod for our weekly parlay. Weekly what?
Yeah, keep going.
Our weekly anytime touchdown parlay, and I guess we can do a team parlay, or we'll do a mix since there's only.
I think we
should
do a mix. There's only 2 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that, 12-3 last week on straight plays that were posted. Player props. We put player props every single week. Try to do like 3 or 4 a game. Like in the playoffs, it's been 3 or 4 a game. During the regular season, it's like whatever. It's the same thing. Somewhere between 10 and 12 a week. 12-3 last week. So if you did follow him and you did tail him, and I know a couple of people did who were texting me, they were very happy. So 12-3, take it.
You can find those at Athlete Pod on Instagram/X, and find or follow us on Traveling Athlete Pod on Instagram, and TikTok is back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it died for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
That was funny. It was funny, like watching people freak out just for it to come back 6 hours
amazing.
later.
It was amazing. I all my friends who use TikTok a lot, they posted like a goodbye TikTok thing, and I just commented LOL the next day.
Like everyone knew it was coming back. Like there's no way it was not. Like,
what are we talking about? There's people who delete it off their phone and they can't get it back.
It sucks.
There's iPhones on eBay right now going for like $10,000.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Yeah, a bunch of like it like if it did go away, it is crazy because I think a lot of people made a lot of money off TikTok and their entire careers off TikTok. So like I'm sure for some people,
a lot of our listeners are from TikTok. So.
Yeah, which is good. I like that. Yeah. I take that. I like the TikTok clips. Mike does a good job.
I was actually a little worried.
Why?
About that, because we get a lot more views on TikTok than we do Instagram. Instagram is like the worst when it comes to views.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Well, I think it's a different we don't need to go on a tangent like non-sports related, but I did see something of like it doesn't hit the same because it's older, so like it's Instagram's more our generation, like it's harder to get to it to find the reels you want, whereas TikTok is you open it up and you're already inside of your own like cycle of videos that you like to watch. So you just open it and scroll instead of trying to find something in the discover page on Instagram that kind of relates to what you're looking for. So it's just interesting how that works. It's fascinating.
I mean, the TikTok app is just, I just prefer Instagram, and most people our age do, but it's just a lot more organized. Like TikTok just looks like a 5-year-old put it together and was like, you know what? Here's my project. And then Instagram's more intricate, but the views thing on Instagram sucks. Even for me, like it's like one video will do really well. Then the next one, I'm like, did anyone see this? Why? You know?
But I think it's all of it. Sometimes like you don't know what's going to actually hit and what's going to work. It just depends on what it is. It's just, like,
one of my biggest videos on Instagram, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna post this, whatever. My biggest video on TikTok, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna post it, whatever, and it got the most views.
Is that the one where you're using the golf tool? Yeah, the ball thing. Yeah,
it's got 2.5 million views.
I remember that.
And I remember I posted at 7 a.m. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Is that a sponsored video?
No.
Ah, shit.
Yeah,
Would it have been better if it was a sponsored video?
No.
Okay.
They suppress that. It's so weird. I thought I knew a lot about it, and then like the more I use it, the more I get confused. I'm like, oh god. And then people act like they know. They don't really know.
Yeah, no one knows. I don't think anyone knows.
You just get a lot of views. If you're a hot chick, you get a lot of views, but
that's true.
That's about it.
Fair point.
Anyway, follow us at Traveling Athlete Podcast. No, at Traveling Athlete Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and at Athlete Pod for more bets and player props and
Go Birds.
Brian. Oh, okay. We're ending with that.